First the pandemic, now the war in Ukraine. The world economy has been shaken up, including the production of semi-conductors, which are important for a number of industries. From car and electronics manufacturers to medical technology, many companies fear having to shut down production again if chip makers can't get their hands on those raw materials from Russia and Ukraine. Sales in the computer chip industry have increased enormously in recent years. Last year, with supply chains in crisis due to the pandemic, chip production achieved a record turnover of $584 billion. And have a look at the forecast for this year. This is quite interesting, $630 billion, and that despite the delivery difficulties from China, Russia and Ukraine. Well, let's talk about that with Vincent Stammer of the Kiel Institute for the World Economy. Is that growth forecast realistic in your opinion?
Well, we started out the year with a very positive outlook for the global economy as economies all over the world recovered from the global pandemic. That gave also the computer chip industry a boost. So a couple of weeks ago, I would have said it is realistic. On the other hand, now we are facing great challenges from the Ukraine crisis. Take, for example, neon, noble gas that is highly purified and processed in Ukraine. That is actually essential to the manufacturing of computer chips. And it is just quite uncertain how much stockpiles the large computer chip factories, for example, in Taiwan have to continue producing computer chips.
And the thing is, we're just coming on the back of that recovery from the COVID pandemic. The world economy hasn't quite recovered yet. Then we've got this war in Ukraine. It's a whole lot of hurdles all coming at once, isn't it?
Indeed, there are actually quite a lot of challenges that are facing the global supply chains at the moment. Take China, for example. China is actually facing a new Omicron wave. In addition to the zero COVID strategy that is still running, there's a danger that it will lead to another mass lockdowns. Keep in mind that another great portion of the neon production is actually located in China. On the other side of the world, Europe is actually already facing very high energy prices on the back of uncertainty and sanctions against Russia. These worries would just intensify even further if there was a reduction of imports of fossil fuels from Russia to the Western Europe. This would push up prices and would put a great pressure on supply chains.
And Vincent, where's all of this leading? Is the word recession something that's on your mind?
The Institute for the World Economy has already lowered its growth forecast for Germany from 4 to 2.1%, and that does not include an entire embargo of oil, coal, and natural gas from Russia. It is to be believed that if we stopped importing these net fossil fuels altogether, this could deal another hit of approximately 3% of GDP to the German economy. Then we actually, you would, in theory, touch negative growth again, declines.
Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think Europe is going to cut itself off from Russian oil and gas?
Not at the moment, I believe. If you listen to Minister Habeck, I believe that the government has in place a stepwise reduction of the natural gas. I think that is quite reasonable, that we step by step reduce the dependence on Russian oil and gas. I think stopping from today to tomorrow would be too of a cost to the German economy. It is important, don't get me wrong, it is important to stop importing fossil fuels from Russia as soon as possible, but we cannot hit our economy more than Russia's.
Yeah, it's a sad situation. We have to look at this realistically. But in so many cases, the economics trump the politics. Vincent Stammer from the Kiel Institute for the World Economy, thank you very much for joining us here on DW.
Welcome.